like I mentioned before, like I started in a hardcore band, like playing guitar and like screaming and all that shit. And I eventually transitioned to the hip hop, like, and then like the dance scene, which is what I'm in now, primarily. And it's just really interesting to see the kind of scene that it is, like, and how different it is from one another, just based on the genres. Like, at a hardcore show, like at Solid Sound Studios and Powerline, like every Friday and Saturday night, people would pay $10 to see the shittiest bands ever and the shittiest sound system just to fucking be there. Like that was the culture. And like if you weren't there, you weren't fucking cool. And I transitioned to the hip hop world, and it's just kind of like it's more cutthroat. I don't know if it's like this in everywhere, but at least like in here and down south in Miami and Florida, whatever. I mean, 70% of the people that are in the audience are rappers that are that either A, need promotion, or B, are up next to perform. Yeah. And it's just kind of like not a selfish mentality, but like everybody's there like to support, but they're getting support at the same time. Like it's kind of like a win-win situation always, rather than just like a culturalistic, if that's a word, destination. Like to end up there and like be part of the culture. And it's just, when I first entered the hip-hop scene, like it was either that, like the show was packed, but there was 25 rappers on the list, or it was like a Monday night at O'Malley's, and there was like 7 people there, and like everybody there was to support one rapper or something like that. Right. And, I don't know, it was upsetting, but like, nonetheless, like, it's dope to see that people still like move forward towards the culture. But, yeah, that's kind of, like, hip-hop kind of, when I saw that and I saw the reaction, at least, I think hip-hop in hip-hop, I think it is the most regional type of music. Like, you need to be in a specific place to really elevate your, like, hip-hop passion, like if anywhere, you're gonna move somewhere to be like the best you can, like New York, LA, Atlanta, even Tennessee now and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be moving pretty soon.
I mean, I think that's a huge thing, dealing with that. A couple things I want to touch on with that is, like, yeah, it's just so cutthroat, and just trying to find a loyal fan base is very difficult, and finding that market. But I feel like it's kind of fallen from 80s, 90s into now. I think that there was a bar that was raised as far as lyrical skill, obviously, to an extent.
It dropped.
And then it dropped, but also everything being so easily accessible with the internet, like, that came late in the 90s, like, with, things like that, just everything became so easily accessible. And this is with everything. Right. And, cameras are affordable now. Everyone's a photographer, paint and material. And any and everybody could have done that, but now it's like everyone wants to try and find something artistically, whether they're artistically inclined or not. Right. They're trying to find a cool hobby. Yeah. Where for people like you and I, music, not even just hip hop, is a driving force. It's a passion. It's something that drives us. And I think that more and more people see that, you as a driving force, and you accumulate more people at shows via that. But no one knows you. Like, I feel like, especially in hip hop, people go up on stage and feel like entitled.
Yeah,
like, you guys have to respond when I call and respond. You guys have to react a certain way when I say this bar and the DJ drops a song,
Dude, some people even, like, first time ever, like, performing in front of these people, they expect them to learn the dance. Like, alright guys, we got this new dance coming out, you all ready for this? It's gonna go a little something like this. And you just look like a fucking retard, dude.
Yeah.
Like, nobody
knows you. And then the other thing is, like, rapping over your own vocals.
Yeah. Like, you're literally playing your iPod. So this brings me to my next question. So we both come from other genres of music that are inclined by musical, like actual musical expression, where hip-hop, no disrespect at all, sampling, it's its own, to an extent, it's its own instrument. But it still is, nonetheless, pressing buttons and stuff like that, which leaves room to have people entitled for things that they really shouldn't be entitled for. Like, they just kind of press the right buttons, and now they're making millions.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you're trying to record a guitar and a drum. Like, you actually need all these mics and these, you know, analog compressions and all these things.
And good producers will use compression and different things like that, especially with sampling. Those producers who don't use live instrumentation.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, live instrumentation is becoming a thing now.
Oh,
you know, it's
totally.
becoming like it's.
Chance too is like a huge like lead for that.
It's your whole show. You know, like the whole thing that people don't get is that you're performing, you're an entertainer, you're a show. So like you can't just like. You kind of have to go with how the vibe is type deal and like run with it. Like you can't just like have a set and be like, this is how it's gonna go. People, I'm gonna hit my dance track. People are gonna dance to it. Yeah, 30% chance is they're gonna fucking just stand there. You know, like. So I mean, as an entertainer, you have to be adaptable. You know, and like
Definitely.
And that like you have to read the crowd. Like
you can't hold the crowd to a high expectation.
You can't.
You have to have the lowest expectations.
Right,
like,
and you gotta build
hopefully
them up.
these people dig my shit.
Exactly.
You know, hopefully.
But you gotta
kill it regardless.
You gotta put yourself in the audience's shoes too. You know, like how would I react if I was watching this? You know, like, and like as a producer, I mean, now that I'm like starting to like play shows and shit, like you kind of have to produce for certain kinds of speakers. Like these trap rappers, I don't mean to label or whatever, but like they'll come in with like this fucking beat that just sounds like garbage on like these mono speakers, like because most speakers in a club are mono, and like it just sounds like and like people like there's these little things that people need to understand, that it's not just rapping your song, it's not just doing this, it's performing, it's everything's perfect, it's this plus this plus this equals this type shit. Nick, you can come in. You don't have to fucking hide. Shout out to Nick for the room, by the way.
Slide in your girls' DMs like.
Yo.
And his shirts, extra large, XXL coming out very soon.
2XL,
Hey.
2XL.
Yeah, that's how I live my life.
The large ones. But fuck. Oh yeah. So it's just really important, and people aren't getting the fact that like entertaining is keeping people happy, not just like playing your set and like leaving and like being cocky about it. Like it's like you said, like we were talking with Todd about your last performance, like how like easily the crowd was like attainable. You know, like you can get them to respond well. Like you have to read that, and like you have to take advantage if that's that kind of crowd. You
Right,
know, like,
and I mean that definitely comes with it, experience.
Right.
But the main thing, I have artists, like especially up and coming artists, all the time, not even in just hip hop, come up to me and they're like, your rapport with the crowd is really great,
Right.
and your performance was awesome. Like, you know, like you hit the notes right, the DJ dropped the beat on time, and I tell people all the time, rehearse a billion times.
Right.
I hate almost every single song I've ever created because I've rehearsed it over and over and over. And like the hardest part for me at this point is just putting a set list together.
Right.
You know, like hopefully like, because for me it's like a book, you know, and there's like, I'm the main character, right? And then it's like there's like a plot. It hits a high, then it goes low, you know, and just wavelengths. Wavelengths are up and down, up and down. So like, that's how I want to treat my set. You know, start with something a little light, hit them with a banger, go back, you know, things of that nature.
Story.
So putting together a set list really is like what's important to me. But like for up and coming artists all the time, you know, be ready for when the DJ's gear just, you know, blows a fuse, or like the power stops, or the mic gets unplugged, or there's a billion scenarios that can go wrong. But if you know your lyrics front to back and you've rehearsed this a billion times, you can just shoot the rest of that a cappella, you know, and then the crowd won't even know. Like I've had times where like crowd just didn't even know that something went wrong, you know, and because of technical difficulties. But like I said, I just rehearse, you know.
What's wrong with
And then like he said, you know, don't be a dick and leave right after, you know, you perform and like think you're the shit. Like again, nobody knows you.
Yeah.
Be humble. Network. Your network is your net worth.
You're
period.
You gotta think you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, just I don't know. The whole reason why we're here is because we're here to promote the song that we're doing together. I personally really fucking enjoyed it. He fucking drove all the way down from Jupiter. We made some fire. It's like low key fire though. It's like we kind of like explained it how like you like you're reading a yearbook. It's called the Reminisce, so it's like remembering, being nostalgic, thinking about the past and present, and looking on towards the future.
And we co-produced it,
And we
which is super
co-produced
cool.
it.
Did
Yeah.
some of it, some of the sounds, some of the snares with our mouth.
I mean, pretty much all the percussion was,
Yeah.
you know, like that type of shit, and then I just added like a snare and like some hi-hats and whatever. But yeah, it's a dope old sample. It's really low key. It's super mellow. We're gonna be dropping it later on in the week. You know, we've been talking about hip hop this whole entire time. I wouldn't really call myself a hip hop producer. The whole reason why I love hip hop in general is because I am I would say like a dance, like a house producer or whatever. That's just what I really like going into. But there are some things that you can't express in house music. Hip hop and lyrics, and those are really some things that you can only express via lyrics. Like, you know, like you're telling a story. Like if you're mad at somebody, I can't write a house track to it. You know, like I can literally say "fuck you" to this person, or "I love you," or whatever the case is. So yeah, I don't really do a lot of hip hop tracks. So this track right here is very special to me. I wrote a lot about you know, my life and like how I'm gonna look towards the future and stuff like that, apologizing for certain things that I did in the past, looking back and becoming a better person. So,
And I just want to touch on real quick, just to finish it off, the diction, tone of voice, delivery, all that, you know, is put into play, especially when expressing hip hop lyrics. And I feel like his verse, he did that just like solid gold.
wow. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank you so much.
Again, I'm Broot McCoy, Broot McCoy. This boy is Matthew Kelly.
Kelly, yeah, I have a producer name, but I'm not putting it out yet. I'm gonna put out a bunch of side shit under that name, so look out for it when I reveal it. So yeah,
Cool.
thanks.
Schwiggity.
Lit.